Welcome back to Mostly Mac. Today we're going to be taking a look at iOS 17 and what was all announced at WWDC yesterday. So big things that came out of WWDC. Obviously everybody is all excited about the virtual reality goggles. There's big changes to iOS 17, what they're calling better life improvement type updates with those. They made changes to iPad OS, TV OS, Watch OS. Those last couple, though, not as big of deals with those. I would like to go through today the iOS 17 updates that's going to be rolling out here in the fall. First one up that I'm very excited for, in fact, we just talked about this on my last video, was name drop, the ability to exchange contact information simply by tapping your phone on another person's iPhone. They showed that demonstration because it worked exactly how it does with paying by your phone at any retail opportunity. You basically just kind of tap each other and then you can share information. You can share your contact photo and you only have to share what pieces of information you want to share with them. If you only want to give them your email, you only have to give them your email. You don't have to give them your phone number. So the choice is up to you what you are giving the other person in there. So I thought that was great. Looks simple, clean, easy, just like what we would expect out of an Apple device or out of an Apple idea with those. They led off with the contact posters as one of the changes for the phone side, and I really kind of liked these. I always liked having those bigger pictures that came up underneath some of the older iOSs. Nowadays, they're kind of smaller pictures in there. But these will be larger photos nowadays. You can adjust them and you can adjust the screens and the text just the same way you adjust your lock screen nowadays. So you can change the fonts and the styles and all of those things with the contact posters. Can also use emojis or memojis and all of those things. So it really looks nice. Those are some really great, like they said, quality of life improvements with those. They look great on there. And staying on that same kind of homepage, the live voicemails was a great addition as well. So basically, if somebody calls you and you decline the call or it goes to voicemail, once they start talking on your voicemail, you will get text rolling up your screen, basically the same way if you use the lyrics in Apple Music. It's the exact same kind of thing. So if you recognize that this is an important phone call, then you can actually pick up and actually talk to the person from there. So you can actually jump into the call at that point. If not, you can basically just read the text message and let it go. So basically, it's really kind of a nice way to see those in there. So that was really kind of great in terms of just being able to see things quickly at a glance to know whether you need to pick up the phone or not in a situation where you're kind of in between with those. One of the other big improvements that they made was stickers, or that's a new thing that they have made nowadays. Basically, they are new emojis, they are new stickers. You can pull in stickers from your photos. You can make stickers out of your photos. You can use stickers basically everywhere. Everywhere that you could use an emoji before, you can now use a sticker. All of the emojis are now stickers, and you can place the stickers on text messages. So you can put instead of just sending back a happy face, you can now take the little happy face text emoji sticker, place it on the text message. You can turn it, you can size adjust it by pinching and scrolling in there. So it's a really great kind of piece that you can do in there. It looks like a really kind of a fun thing that you can actually do with those stickers. Always nice to get kind of those kind of fun ones in there. Everybody's, WWDC is supposed to be about developers and coding and doing all the crazy stuff kind of under the hood. But for the casual, everyday person, they really want some of the fun stuff in there. So those first four, the name drop, the contact posters, the stickers, and the live voicemail, those are some fun things that we can see coming here in the fall version of iOS 17. The next thing I want to talk about is the autocorrect function that even Craig Federighi made fun of, saying that you can now use the ducking right word that you want to in there. So they didn't use the word AI yesterday. They danced around that quite a bit. But basically it's going to use kind of AI and language information, and it's going to kind of learn what words that you actually mean in there to help you use the right ones and not get auto-corrected over all of the time. I can tell you for myself, obviously ducking is a big one. But as a former sports reporter, where things like the local school names that we were covering, or positions like TE for tight end on the football teams, those things always got auto-corrected back to the. So it just was hard to be able to do those things. Teach that to your iPhone. So hopefully those types of language barriers that have been there before, it'll pick up on those and learn those, making that autocorrect a little bit smarter than what it was in the past, what it clearly has not been. One of the big things that they showed on several of the things was standby mode, what they're calling standby mode. Basically what it does is it allows you to take your phone, and when you turn it horizontally when it's charging, it basically brings up a home screen that you can kind of rotate through. And everybody's talking about this on the Apple home side of things, that it's another controller to allow you to turn on your lights and set all of kind of your home stuff, which is great. And I love that, and I'm big into that stuff. What they didn't say, but what they showed and didn't tell, was they had multiple stands throughout the homes that they were showing. And all of those stands were all MagSafe, and you basically MagSafed your phone onto these things, and they were all placed throughout the house, and they were different types of stands. But they didn't talk about the stands. They didn't talk about selling those as an accessory. They didn't talk about them at all. But in order for a lot of the stuff that they showed, being the standby mode, the things that they talked about, being able to use FaceTime on your Apple TV now, where you actually have to put your phone up there and basically kind of use the camera for that. You have to magnet that up there somewhere, but they didn't talk about that accessory. So I don't know if that's something that they're going to make a bigger push on. Maybe they're going to do more with MagSafe in the fall. But they didn't really kind of talk about that, and I was kind of surprised by it. I kept waiting for them to go, yeah, this is our new line of MagSafe products that allows you to do all these things, and they just didn't, and it was kind of confusing in that area, so I was a little bit surprised by that. The last thing that I want to talk about that they talked about on WWDC was the transparency mode in AirPods. And basically what that does, that allows you to not only play your music, but also hear the world around you. So when you're walking, you don't get hit by a bus type thing, or if somebody walks up to you and starts having a conversation, it'll drop the volume so that you can talk to people in real time. Don't have to pull them out or start and stop them or whatever. You'll still hear the music in the background, but it kind of lowers them. But it drowns out kind of outside noise. They had the marching band going by somebody, which I thought was kind of funny. But that may not be the actual use case for those. But that was something that's available. So curious to see when that comes to my AirPods, testing that out. See if I actually use my AirPods more, just because I like to leave them out to talk to people. Like obviously at work I need to do that, or when I'm grocery shopping with the wife. She doesn't like it when I ignore her because I can't hear her because I got my earphones in. But if I could have a transparency mode where I can leave those in, hear my music, and still talk to her, that's gonna go a lot farther in my relationship over there on that end of life with those things. Afterwards, so that was some of the things I want to talk about that were coming in iOS 17 that they actually announced yesterday on the presentation. Afterwards, though, last night on Twitter and in some of the newsletters that I subscribe to, there were some other features that came out that I was actually kind of surprised that I think are actually very good features that they didn't talk about during the presentation. One of those was now all those verification texts that you get when you have to two-factor into a website, whenever you're using it, those verification texts that you get, those will now auto-delete after X period of time. And I don't think I saw how long it was, but it said that they would delete themselves. Or you can set it so that it will delete itself in there, so you don't have that junking up your text message, which is great. I get those things all the time when I have to VPN in from my job. So I'll get 2 or 3 of those a day, depending upon how much I have to jump on and off the VPN for work. So that is going to be great, so I don't have a zillion of those things running around in there. In coordination with that, or is in a similar vein of that, Mail will now get those auto verifications. You can now insert those into a site just the same way that text messages do. So that's going to be awesome in there as well. That will maybe bring a lot of people back to the native mail app. I know things like Spark and Airmail and those types of things, they're running around and they're great alternatives. But if that's always been one of my frustrations with those verifications, if they send it to my email, I've got to jump over, copy and paste the number, or try and remember the number for 15 seconds, jump back into my browser, and then enter in all of that stuff. So now they can do the same thing as the text messages do, and that's a fabulous feature that I love. If it can do that on the mail side, that's going to really kind of increase productivity, and I love that. Plus, it's, like I said, maybe that brings a few more folks back to the Apple Mail side if it can do that, or it'll force the third-party vendors to push to develop that for their stuff as well. One of the other things that also came out last night was the ability to share an AirTag, which is great. So right now, if you set up an AirTag, it is only dedicated to basically to your phone that you set it up on. But if you're somebody like myself, where I have my dog, I have an AirTag on my dog. I know they say you're not supposed to, but I do it anyway. I wanted an AirTag specifically for my dog because she likes to run off if she gets off of her chain or she gets off the leash, she is gone. So the ability to have that I can share that AirTag, especially for my dog, with my family members, my wife or my kids if they take her, if they pick her up, take her for a walk or something like that, and she gets away from them. The ability to be able to track her, have other people be able to track her will be great. That'd be my use case for it. I don't see, I don't need to share them for my keys or, those types of things. I think in the newsletter I saw, it said, you put an AirTag in your car so you can always find your car and share it so that everybody kind of knows where everybody parked. That's fine. But I think on the animal side is really where you are going to use that a lot. The last piece that we're going to talk about today actually is going to be what they're calling check-in via the text messages. And basically what it does is you will set up the ability to check in with someone. So if you go for a run or you're going out for the night, you can set up a contact so that if you're supposed to be home by 2 a.m. or in an hour or something like that, that it will notify the person that you made it home okay, or it will send you a reminder saying, hey, text this person saying, hey, I've made it home okay. If for some reason you don't complete that check-in process, it'll send the information of last known location, your cell phone battery percentage so they know that they can call you, those types of things so that if something does go sideways or poorly or, bad things happen, that you have the ability to, be at least kind of semi-tracked there. Obviously, you're going to do that with a trusted person, a spouse, a parent, a child, a good friend, something like that, just so that you have that ability to have somebody kind of monitoring your presence. As a father of two 20-something-year-old girls, the ability to have them to say, hey, I'm going to come home at this time, and have a text message that says, yes, they made it home, brings a big peace of mind from my end of it there. All right, thank you for watching. We appreciate everybody that watches in here. If you are watching, please like and subscribe. Other than that, we will see you next time where we are going to talk more about some other WWDC items, specifically iPad OS.